makes using our new chapter 3 Cute Ghost Die. So this is a Bigz Die which is perfect for Halloween. I'm going to show you loads of different techniques using some of our dimensional paste, our 3D adhesive, and some of our decorative foil sheets and a few other bits as well. So you're going to be creating lots of tactile makes, lots of fun techniques to play around with, and I've got a couple of examples of things that we're going to do throughout this video. So this one is using the 3D adhesive with the silver foil, and then we've even got some embossing with luster wax in the background, and then that cool kind of shadow effect sentiment down there. We've got the same kind of idea but using some of the dimensional paste with some of our acrylic paints over the top. And then we've got some using the negative of the die cut using our dimensional paste, and some of the dimensional paste coloured with acrylic paints, and then some using the 3D adhesive with the silver foil for the little face as well. So those are just 3 different kind of techniques and fun makes that I'm going to show you throughout this video. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do want to check out the die that I'm using, which is that lovely little cute ghost one, or some of the effects like the 3D adhesive that I'm going to use, definitely head on over to the Sizzix website and check it out. It should all be there, and hopefully you can get crafting for Halloween, whether you want to make cards, or this could turn into a lovely Halloween invite for a party, or you could even use the little cute ghosts for decorating and not pop them on cards. You could use them as cake toppers, as bunting, anything like that. And you can have a lot of fun playing around with the fun effects range and the techniques on each of the little ghosts as well. So I'm going to bring my camera down so you guys can see a little bit more in depth of what I'm doing to my overhead camera, and then we will get started. Okay guys, so we're going to be using this Bigz Die called Cute Ghost from chapter 3. This is a really adorable one. You get these 2 little ghost shapes and then the elements to put on the eyes and the mouth. Hopefully you can see that. If you can't, don't worry, I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to obviously show you the elements cut anyway. But with this being a Bigz Die, it does mean that we can cut thicker materials from this, so things like mixed media board, matte board, felt, cardboard, everything like that. And it's just a really nice simple shape to kind of work with, and I really have enjoyed playing around with this die. So this is the one that we're going to use mostly today, and I'm going to be using mixed media board to cut this out with. So hopefully you can see that. So this is our mixed media board, and it comes in a pack with 2 different colours, so you get grey and white, and you get 5 sheets of each. So they're quite a lot thicker than obviously our regular cardstock, and it means it's going to be a really nice surface for me to work on, because I'm going to be using some of our effects range on top of it. So I don't want to be using something thin like card that will kind of soak up the material and then ruin my base underneath. So we're going to be using mixed media board, and obviously because ghosts are white, I'm going to be using the white board, and I've trimmed it slightly down to size, and I'm going to cut that out. So I'm going to bring in my machine, and if you're cutting bigs, you probably know by now you just need 2 plates and without your base plate underneath, so just the 2 clear plates, and then pop your material on top and then pop it through. Okay, a piece is already pinged off on the floor. And then hopefully you can see that you get those 2 adorable little ghosts, and then the eyes and the mouth, which has fallen on the floor. But we're going to mainly use the ghost shapes, and just bear in mind, don't chuck away your negative or your aperture, because we are going to be using this as well, because I want to show you several different kind of techniques. Okay, so I'm going to take both of my little ghosts, and I want to kind of add some different textures and elements on there. So I'm going to be using our dimensional paste, our 3D dimensional paste, and our 3D adhesive. Now, these are going to be doing 2 different kind of things, but I'm going to place them in the same kind of areas and use them as like adding textures. So I think I'm going to use the dimensional paste first, so we'll just pop the adhesive to one side. And the dimensional paste, mine's quite well used, as you can probably see. The dimensional paste is like a thick paste, and it's obviously used for creating dimension and creating extra texture onto anything really. You could use it through stencils, or you can just use it to kind of build peaks on your projects and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to be using it as a little highlight almost. So I'm going to be taking just a palette knife. This is just a plastic palette knife. I'm going to scoop up some, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create little highlights. So bear in mind where I kind of want them. I think I might do them along this side. So I'm going to spin it round just so it's facing me slightly, and I'm going to pick it up and kind of just place the dimensional paste just kind of along this edge. Okay, and just use it as creating just a little bit of texture on one side, and you can kind of smooth over the edge. You could smooth over the top and make it a lot smoother, and then create like a gradient into the sort of flat base underneath. You could do it really textured. You could keep building this up if you wanted, but I think I'm about happy with that. So just turn that around so you can hopefully see a little bit better. So there we go. And just kind of build it up. You can scrape more off, you can get more out and add more. And there we go. And you probably want to leave this for a couple of hours to fully dry. Obviously it depends on how thick you've created. If you've done it really thick, you're going to want to wait longer. But if you've done like a thinner layer, then you're not going to need as long. I would normally recommend a couple of hours, and then just go back and check on it and see how it is. Okay, so that's the dimensional paste. We're going to leave that as that for now and let that dry. I'm going to move my dimensional paste to one side, and then we're going to bring in this one, and I'm going to use the 3D adhesive. So this is a really sticky glue, and it is a lot thicker than our regular glue. As you can see, like I can pick that up and move it around and it doesn't move anywhere. And it just means that you can create texture with your glue and then stick things on top. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same palette knife because I've hardly got any adhesive on there. And I'm going to, again, do the same kind of thing, like on the same edge technique almost. Still creating that texture and those kind of peaks on my base. And scraping it off on the edge. And then maybe get a little bit more. And again, you can play around with how you want it to gradate into your background and how smooth you want it, or rough or anything like that. Okay, so that is roughly what I'm kind of aiming for, is like a little bit of highlight, whether you're using dimensional paste or 3D adhesive. Again, you want to leave the 3D adhesive to dry. Now this, you want it to dry until it's tacky. So you don't want to stick your finger in it and it come off like that, but you want to pop your finger on it and it almost like resist coming back off, if you understand what I mean. So you want it to be slightly sticky and tacky because we're going to add something over the top of it when it is sticky. Okay, but you don't want to like indent the raised element that you've made. Okay, so we're going to leave those to one side to dry. And I have prepared a couple earlier. So I've got a couple with my dimensional paste and a couple with my 3D adhesive. So you can tell the difference. The dimensional paste kind of dries much more matte and the 3D adhesive is much shinier. Okay, so like I said before, the way that you touch it, you can see that hopefully you can see anyway, that my finger is slightly resisting coming off, but I've not got anything on my finger when I do that, okay? So same with that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dimensional paste ones and move those to one side, and then we're going to add some fun stuff to this one. So while it's still tacky, I'm going to be using some of our decorative foil sheets. So these are the silver decorative foil sheets, and these come in 3 different shades. So you can get silver, gold, or rose gold, if I can get into them. I'm going for silver because I'm kind of going for that, obviously, Halloween spooky vibe. I think silver is a little bit more... I can't not get into this to save my life. There we go. It's going to work a little bit better. So I'm going to take a sheet of the silver. And you'll find that one side is like a matte, slightly pinky shade, and then the other side is obviously got your colour on that you want. So I'm going to do one at a time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that over the top and then give it a rub with the back of my hand, or just with your fingers. You could use a dense brush for this, like a burnishing brush. Okay, make sure you've got it all covered. You can peel it off and you can see the texture that it's picked up on there. If you find that some bits haven't picked up, just go back over and go back over those pieces. But I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so that's the kind of effect that you're going to have. So I'm going to do it again with this one as well, just to show you. I think this is a really cool but easy effect, and it makes a really nice texture. This is why it's important that it's like dry but still tacky, because obviously if you try to press down on it and it's still wet, you just get glue everywhere. Okay, so there we have our 2, oh, I've just put that in the one that was still drying. So we have our 2 little ghosts that have their highlights on. Okay, so I'm going to leave these to one side for a second. We're going to add those to a make in a second. But what I want to do is show you guys the dimensional paste one. Okay, so I'm going to bring in just one of these, and what you could do is I could leave that as it is, but if you wanted it to be completely one colour, I could use some of our creamy acrylic. So I'm just going to use some of our white over the top. Just so it's all the same colour. You could even use some of our other creamy acrylics and do like really fun little ghosts as well. Okay. So you could do like really fun colours if you wanted to, but I just wanted to make sure they're all kind of the same colour. You can't see the join, you can now just see the texture. Okay, so then we've got another little textured ghost. So again, I'm going to pop him to one side to dry as well. I've got loads of things drying off to the side. Okay, so while I wait for those ones to dry, I wanted to bring back the negative that we cut out earlier, and I wanted to show you guys how you could use some of the pastes, so like the dimensional paste, on something like the negative. So rather than working with the actual die cut, we can work with the negative. So I've got a piece of black card, and I'm going to place that over the top. You can use some masking tape if you want to secure it. I'm just going to grab mine really quickly. When you're doing these kind of things, guys, just make sure you're protecting your surfaces because they do get a bit messy. As you can tell, my fingers are already covered and my surface is already covered. I've got a silicone mat underneath, but just bear that in mind when you are doing this kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the dimensional paste and I'm going to scrape bits out with the palette knife, and then I'm going to bring in our texture tool, which is really cool for creating different textures because you've got the 3 sides that have the different kind of textures, but then you've also got a smooth side that you can work with, and I'm going to use the smooth side. So I'm going to take that and smooth that out over the negative die cut and use it as a stencil. Obviously you can use actual stencil film or something like that for this, but since we've already got this cut, may as well use this. Because it is a little bit thicker, you'll find that it will gather around the edges a little bit more, and then be a little bit softer in the middle. Something that I have just realised that I've forgotten to do is, and it's already got some through to my underneath, is I would have covered this part. So don't forget to do that, guys. Cover it with a piece of cardstock or some masking tape or something like that. But as you can see, it's a little bit lighter in the middle, but I could always get some more. More paste. And pop that through with my texture tool and get a really nice flat coverage, even coverage. And then I can pull these off and then pull this away from my base. And we have our little ghosts. Obviously, I really hope I really wish I'd covered that section before I started. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had that. So just bear that in mind, guys, when you're doing that technique. Just make sure you cover that section over. So we can leave that to dry, and then when it dries, it would look something like this. So what I have done is I've popped on a little sentiment using the nostalgic alphabet from chapter 3 as well, and then I've popped on some 3D adhesive eyes and mouth using that same aperture or negative. So I just did that, I taped off the other bits and I placed that over, and I used actually the 3D adhesive. So the 3D adhesive that we used earlier for the foil, because I wanted to try it with the foil for the little face. So bringing back that silver foil, again I've left it to dry for a certain period of time. Oh, look how cute that is. And then you get little silver eyes and mouth. If you didn't want to do that, I'm going to show you another technique. I told you there's so many different techniques in this video, guys. Hopefully you won't get bored. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of white and a little bit of black. And I'm going to get my palette knife, just scrape off what I've got there. And actually, I'm not scraping it off, I don't know why I did that. I'm going to pop some of my dimensional paste in there, and I'm going to create a kind of grey coloured dimensional paste. Okay, so we're getting like, we've actually colouring the dimensional paste now. And then I can use this to hopefully create his little eyes and mouth. So again, just over those areas, hold down the card, hold it down quite firmly because this could kind of go everywhere. Okay, peel that off, and then there we go. We have another little face. So depending on which one you liked, obviously you'd have to wait for the dimensional paste to fully dry before you sent it or used it on the front of an invite or something like that. But that gives you an idea of 2 different ways that you can create the little faces on the ghost background. I think they're super, super cute. Love those. Okay. So that's one way that you could create your card. Obviously, we've been doing the other ones. So I'm going to bring those back in. So working with the ones that we did with dimensional paste. So we used these ones earlier. I think I've got another one somewhere. So I've got another one here that I forgot to paint. So I'm actually going to quickly paint that. The good thing about these acrylic paints is they dry pretty quickly. So once your dimensional paste or your 3D adhesive is dry, if you did want to use any kind of acrylic or anything over the top, it actually doesn't take that long. So the waiting time is through the other materials, not necessarily the acrylic paints. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to work on the background while they're drying. So I've got a piece of black card, and then I've just got a piece of paper card, just because I wanted some kind of contrast in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my adhesive roller and just roll along here. And then place that. So I've pretty much already cut that to size, and I cut along the fold using a paper trimmer. If you wanted like a zigzag or a swirl or something, or a curve, you could cut that by hand, which would be absolutely fine. And then I'm going to bring in the little face pieces for my ghost. Okay, so I've got those little face pieces. I've just cut them out from just some plain black cardstock. I've got 2 little mouths and 2 little eyes. So I'm just going to pick those up with a touch of glue. Oh, it's probably a little bit too much. Just dab it off. And just adhere that to the little ghost. I think they really come alive when you pop their little faces on. They're so cute. So cute. There we go. And you could cut these from different colours again if you wanted something a little bit more non-traditional, I guess. So don't feel like you have to stick with the generic Halloween colours. If your Halloween party is pink and orange, then do pink and orange ghosts. They'd be super cute. Okay, and then I can pop my little ghosts on here. So one of them is still a little wet, but I can make it work. I think I'm gonna pop him. I'm just trying to think where I want them. I'm gonna pop some glue on the back of here. So I'm back leaving a little bit of space down the bottom for a sentiment. So I'm gonna have him up there. And then I'm gonna pick this little guy up. And then pop him here. Oh, already they look so cute. And then again, I've got the alphabet. I can actually cover up that little bit there. The alphabet using some of the silver opulent cardstock. So you could use any of the opulents if you don't like the silver, but this is the silver glitter, and I've just popped some adhesive sheet on the back there. And then we have a cute little Halloween card with that 3D dimension there, which I think is super cute. Love that. Okay, so that's another one. I'm running out of spaces to put them. And then, last but not least, we need to bring back these little silver guys, which, oh, super cute. So again, I've got some card base. This time I've gone for a purple card base, and I've got some background that I've actually 3D embossed. So I've taken one of our 3D embossing folders from chapter 3. Again, this is called Shells, and I've embossed it with some black card. So just popped it through the folder with some plain black card to create that emboss. And what I'm going to do just before I stick it down is I'm going to be using some of our luster wax. So I've got some up here. So this is our silver luster wax. Again, I'm sticking with the silver theme. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit on my finger. I told you this was a messy one, guys. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in just a little bit of card just to get rid of the excess. And then I'm going to rub my finger over the emboss using the luster wax to just highlight that effect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It should really easily kind of pick up the embossed design. I just think it's really cool. What's also really cool, if you didn't want to cut it straight, you could tear this and create even more of a kind of spooky effect. So along that line, just tear it instead of cutting it straight, and that'd be a really cool effect as well. I've actually shown you how to do that with 3D emboss and luster wax in a previous video, so if you're wanting to do that, definitely check some of my older videos out. Okay, so once you are sufficiently messy and you've got your background sorted, I'm going to pop that onto my card. So again, I've got my adhesive roller, my trusty adhesive roller. I love this thing. Just really good with like big flat pieces. It's great. Okay, and then pop that in this corner this time. Hopefully I've cut that to the right size. Okay, and then I'm going to pop my little ghosts on again. I think I'm going to do them this way because again I want my sentiment down the bottom. And what I think I'm going to do is I might attach them with some foam tape. Okay, so I've got some foam tape, and I just wanted to use this instead of glue just to raise them up a little bit. So I'm going to place that there. One's a ghost and another little one just here. Yeah, I'm going to do them like that. Okay, then they need their little faces again, so I'm going to take a little bit of glue just on my mat. And again, just with some black cardstock. Because I've still got luster wax on my fingers as well, it's kind of like picked up some of the luster wax on the eyes on the black card, which obviously if I had time I would wipe my hands, but it looks quite cute actually. Again. And it will stick over the top of the foil and the adhesive, so don't worry if you've got more of the silver than me, it'll easily go over it. Okay, almost finished, and now we need our sentiment again. So again, I've pre-cut my sentiment, but this time I've cut it from black and from silver. So what I'm going to do is I think I might do this one straight. So I'm going to pop down like a black piece, and then pop down a silver piece over the top, and it creates a shadow. How cool is that? So easy, just by cutting two of the same letter out but with different colours and just layering them slightly off skew. So again, just layer that one over the top. Cute. Love this one. I think this is my favourite one, but I just wanted to show you the other cards and ideas, just to give you loads of kind of things to go off and things to play with and different techniques to use on your Halloween makes. So there we go. We have another cute little Halloween card or invite using lots of different effects elements and fun silver shiny elements as well, all kind of coming together to create a really nice textured fun card. Love that. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in a couple of the others that we did, and there we go. So I'm just going to pop back up to my forward facing camera to say my goodbyes, and we are all good. And there we have it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today and getting messy and using some of our effects range along with some of our Halloween dies to create some really gorgeous Halloween makes. I've had a chance to kind of wipe my hands off before I pick these up, but I hope you enjoyed following along, and if you are interested in checking out any of the dies that I use, like the Cute Ghost die, or even some of the effects range like the 3D paste or the dimensional paste, the 3D adhesive and the dimensional paste, definitely head on over to the Sizzix website and check it out. It should all be there in some of the links along the top. And if you are interested in checking out these products, pop in my discount code Jess20, as most of the things, I'm pretty sure everything that I will be using today, you can use that discount code on and you can get yourself some money off. So just pop in Jess20, JESS and numbers 20, and I'll give you some money off if you wanted to try out some of these techniques for yourself, whether you wanted to get your hands on some of the 3D adhesive and the foil, or you like the dimensional paste more, or you just want to get that little cute ghost die ready to get crafting for Halloween because it's just adorable. If you do recreate anything and you get your hands on any of these products, definitely leave me a comment and an image down below or across any of our socials and use the hashtag #MyMakingStory. I would love to see it, and maybe you can show me some of the techniques that you've used, even if it's not a Halloween make, if it's ready for Christmas or something like that and you want to change the colours up, that's completely up to you. But this could be used for so many different things, particularly for Halloween if you get that Cute Ghost die, using for invites, for decorations, little cake toppers, anything. And they're just really, really fun to kind of have a play around with and yeah, get crafting this spooky season. So thank you again for joining me today, guys. Don't forget to use that discount code Jess20 if you're picking up any of the products that I've mentioned today. I'll see you in the next one. I can't wait to share more fun techniques and ideas with you, but until then, stay safe and keep crafting. Thanks.